You found the WMIX Saturday Sports Show on AM 940 and WMIXSports.com. Cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. The Saturday Sports Show has been recognized by the Illinois Broadcasters Association as one of the top radio programs in the state. That means the very best mix of local sports content is right here. From the powerhouse on Broadway, the Saturday Sports Show starts now.
Good morning. We welcome you into the powerhouse on Broadway for the Saturday Sports Show today, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. So glad to have you with us, of course. The Saturday Sports Show is cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Oh, it definitely is. And, of course, what it should be today is a good day of talking sports here on WMIX. We'll talk with Mount Vernon Rams head coach Scott Gamber. Rams had a tough loss last night on the road at Carbondale. We'll take a look at that score in our WMIXSports.com scoreboard here in just a moment. We'll talk with Brian Gamber. Of course, he is the head coach of the Waltonville Spartans, so we go Gamber to Gamber. The Spartans today have a big game at the St. Anthony Shootout, one in which you can hear on AM 940 and WMIXSports.com. 11:15 is your pregame, as the Spartans will have the Diederich Movin Maroons, of course, out of the National Trail Conference. We'll talk with Todd Rogers, the athletic director at Carterville High School. Carterville has a big girls midwinter tournament that starts today. We'll talk with Todd about that. Of course, we had Coach Matt Crane on last week, talk about Carterville Lady Lions' success thus far. Todd Rogers, formerly the coach of the Lady Lions. Tony Richardson, he is the AD at Wayne City High School. We'll talk about how big of a to-do it can be to have to reschedule so many athletic events when you lose them to weather-related cancellations. We'll also talk Lady Rams basketball with Jeff Lonan. His team has not played since the Muscuda Holiday Tournament due to the weather. Of course, they have a big game today with the Triad Lady Knights. That's a 1 o'clock JV start. We'll have that for you on 94.1 FM. A video online at WMIXSports.com as the Lady Rams battle the Lady Knights. Should be a good one. We'll talk with Scott McElravy, head coach of the Fairfield Mules. They picked up a big conference win this past Thursday night. Of course, Mules basketball, premier program out of the Black Diamond Conference. Shane Garner, his team picked up a big win last night. He is the head coach of the Sisterville Red Devils. And we'll also talk about a safe teen driving initiative that they have coming up on Tuesday night before their game at home. And last but certainly not least, the Benton Rangers are on a roll. We'll talk about that with Ron Weinmiller. Rangers are tied atop the River to River, Ohio, with a conference mark of 3-1. So an impressive showing as of recently by the Benton Rangers. And if I'm not mistaken, Rangers was without a key player last night in that big win over Massac.
Dakota Head did not play in that win, but the Rangers were playing at home in Rich Heron Gym. So beat Harrisburg the week before, beat Massac last night. They'll have El Dorado at home on Tuesday. They'll be on the road at Murphy on Friday before the very difficult BIT week that comes with 5 games in 6 days.
Well, and you take a look at the Benton Invitational Tournament as far as midwinter tournaments go, probably one of the more legendary tournaments in the area, of course, with Nashville, Salem. In fact, that'll all be coming up in just a couple of weeks. We'll preview many of your favorite midwinter tournaments next week, right here on the Saturday Sports Show. So that should be a good conversation, one in which we hope you'll tune in. That'll be next week here on the Saturday Sports Show. We'll preview some of the midwinter tournaments, even talk about some of the new ones and whether or not there are too many midwinter tournaments. And yes, there are. Of course, the WMIXSports.com scoreboard was loaded from last night. We had quite a few scores from around the area. You can find them all at WMIXSports.com, where you can hear them right here.
In a game you heard on WMIX last night, Carbondale beat Mount Vernon 73-44. Marion edged Cahokia at home 59-58, and Centralia was beaten on the road. Their first loss of the season, 69-58 at Altoff. Black Diamond last night, SV beat Alvarado 91-31. El Dorado went on the road, at home beat Carmi 62-47 on a couple of back-to-backers for them. It was Johnson City over Vienna 53-34. Goreville beat Trico 59-46. Ziegler-Royalton beat Chester in the Black Diamond 51-46 in a tight one in that one. River to River, Nashville over Pinckneyville 59-45. AJ beat DuQuoin 46-30. Carterville beat Sparta 70-55. In the Ohio, they talked about Benton win over Massac, big one of the night, 69-62. Harrisburg beat Murphy 58-54 in a tight one, and Heron beat Frankfort 56-52. GEC, Gallatin County beat Pope County 96-35. Hardin County beat Thompsonville 53-47. Southwestern Conference, we'll go big schools. Alton beat Belleville West 52-43. The Redbirds keep playing well. Eastside beat Granite City 55-35, and the Beast beat Collinsville 40-36. One more, Apollo Mount Zion beat Salem 63-40, and Mattoon beat Charleston as they play for the 34th time this year, 82-42. Other scores are updated at WMIXsports.com. You laughed?
I laugh, but
That's all they do.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it is what it is, but why would you want to play each other 16 times throughout the year? I've never understood that logic, but it's not for me to understand, perhaps. But you can watch the Rams archive from last night at WMIXsports.com, working on a big highlight. There was a highlight last night, believe it or not, and we'll work on getting that up on WMIXsports.com as well. And you just hope the Rams, they go home tonight. At Chagnon Gymnasium, they have Northwest Academy of Law, and I think you just hope that any of the wrongs from last night can be righted tonight with Northwest Academy of Law coming into Chagnon Gymnasium. So that'll actually be a 6 o'clock JV start tonight. We have that game for you again on 94.1. Online at WMIXsports.com. I'd give you the mascot, but I can't find it to save my life. Looks like it could be a bee or a hornet or a blue-gray yellow jacket of some sort, according to Max Prep. So we'll find that out and try to get that for you in time for tonight's game. But all in all, busy day of basketball here on WMIX. You will actually head out here in just a moment to go to the Enloe Center at St. Anthony High School, where they have a big shootout today. That should be a good game between Waltonville and Diedrich.
Looking forward to making a trip up to Effingham for the Enloe Center and make another trip up there to see Waltonville, a team that's much improved and have done a very good job in recent weeks. Last weekend had a couple big wins. They've been canceled this week more times than fingers on hands. So they get a game in for the first time, I believe, since last Saturday afternoon when they won at North Clay.
Well, and that was a big win for them. Believe it or not, the Spartans are the only, there's 3 teams right now above 500 in the Midland Trail Conference. The Woodlawn Cardinals are 2-0. The Wayne City Indians are 1-0. And the Spartans are 2-1 with wins over Weber and North Clay. And, of course, the lone loss would be to the Woodlawn Cardinals back in December. Plenty more to talk about here on your Saturday Sports Show. We need to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have Mount Vernon Rams head basketball coach Scott Gamber. I know he's probably frustrated after last night, but a lot to look forward to today. You return home and hope to get a win over Northwest Academy of Law before next week's hectic schedule. It's all coming up on the Saturday Sports Show, courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
We're back after these.
A digestive problem can affect every area of your life. But now there's a specialist right here in town who focuses on digestive health. Mayo Clinic trained Dr. Tegpaul Atwal has opened the only gastroenterology clinic in Mount Vernon. Dr. Atwal treats acid reflux, gallbladder problems, inflammatory bowel disease, ulcers, and more. For your appointment with Dr. Atwal at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 618-241-9071.
Learn to live healthy, learn to live well, and learn how you can live free from unexpected medical expense with a major medical expense policy from Pekin Insurance and the Page Agency. Health insurance that covers hospital, medical, and surgical expenses offers a wide choice of deductibles and a non-tobacco user discount too. Rising medical costs don't have to be a problem with a major medical expense policy from Pekin Insurance. This is coverage we hope you'll never need, but you just can't be without. Call the Page Agency at 242-7000 about a major medical health insurance plan today.
Here's Jeff Schmidt for Schmidt Chevrolet of Mount Vernon.
I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a better value than the Chevy Impala. We actually have customers that come in that are comparing that car to BMW, Mercedes, Audi, and it's blowing them away. You really need to come in and take the new Impala for a test drive. You know, the Impala's been a great seller, our number one selling car for many years, and I see that continuing into the future with the new 2014.
Schmidt Chevrolet of Mount Vernon, 3423 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
And we welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show. WMIX, WMIXsports.com is presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Last night, it was a tough one on the road for the Mount Vernon Rams in South 7 Conference play. Of course, they lost to the Carbondale Terriers 73-44. We talk about it with Mount Vernon Rams head basketball coach Scott Gamber. Coach, good morning.
Morning. How are you guys doing?
You know what? Okay. I think it's... You take a look at last night, you see what happened, and I don't know about you, but it seemed like after, even when it was 5-2, there was just kind of an odd feeling last night. It kind of just felt like maybe, I don't want to say that the Rams weren't in it, I don't mean it like that, but just kind of felt like a weird ambiance last night. I don't know how to explain it. It just felt unusual.
Yeah, all through that early start, even when we were hanging around. I felt like the way we were playing, it was going to turn bad. We were playing way too fast. We were shooting early I thought the looks we took weren't necessarily bad shots. It's just how fast we shot them was bad. I don't know if we came in a little overconfident to start with, or I don't know. But then I thought maybe when we got up 5-2, and then they made a run, and then we were able to get it back, and I think we tied it at 12. I thought, well, maybe we'll settle down now. We've played pretty fast, and then we had a horrible end to that first quarter where we gave up an easy basket. We turned it over. That led to another basket. Then we turned it over again against their pressure, and what should have been, a 2-3 point game at the end of the first quarter was 8. And then I think we just kind of panicked there in the second quarter, and it became 15, 16, and then the thing that I think surprises me the most was at the half, talking to them about competing in the second half and whether or not you come back and win this game in the big picture is not, down what we were. The chances of coming back and winning weren't huge, but just the fact talked about not only just fighting in the second half, scrapping, giving it everything you've got. If you lose, but lose fighting. And I don't think we did that in the second half. I think we came out and we went through the motions a little bit. I think frustration set in, and I just did not like the way we responded there in the second half.
I thought early on, you mentioned the beginning of the game where it was close for the first 2 or 3 minutes. It seemed like a very passive start for your team, which is not normal because you have a scrappy bunch. Did you feel like it was kind of a passive start for your team, especially after about the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game?
Yeah, it's just I still today cannot put my finger on what we got into last night as far as early in the game. It just seemed like you said, there was just a lack of intensity that we had seen. And I just think playing Carbondale, who we knew was really, really good on the road, I'm surprised we saw that. I think what you do as a coach is you think about what you could have done to prevent something like that from happening. I think the first thing is I think that I called too many sets last night, especially early in the game, and those sets led to really quick shots. I think we have to run a little more motion, try to get some shots that way, and then get into our sets. I think that will maybe slow us down a little bit. I think I've got to do a better job of really in practice going over that against good defense. When you call a set, that doesn't mean you have to shoot the ball. I thought last night, the entire game, we would call a set. Carbondale's defense was so good that they would take it away, but we would shoot it anyway because, well, it's a set, so we've got to shoot the ball. Where, against a good defensive team, you run it. It may not work. You get into something else. And then the big thing last night, I thought, was the defensive end. Again, I think the things I can do better. I think I've got to do a lot better job of drilling toughness-type plays and then having consequences in practice for lack of toughness-type plays. I thought they got every single loose ball last night. I thought they out-hustled us in every aspect of the game. They killed us on the offensive glass because of our inability to put a body on anybody. I thought they dominated the game around the basket in that any time they cut, they flashed, they were getting wide open. We were not stopping the flashers at all. I just felt like every single 50-50 ball last night they got. And the possession that just still just haunts me is the game was over as far as who was going to win or lose, that they were shooting a free throw. They missed both free throws, got the rebound, missed 2 shots, got both offensive rebounds, got fouled, missed the second free throw of that free throw attempt, got the rebound, missed 2 shots, and ended up getting a putback. I mean, and that in a nutshell is our effort, because boxing out on free throws is all about effort, because what other responsibility do you have to do? And just disappointed in a lot of things. Positively, I thought Jake Pike did a nice job in the second half. Jake Pike's back's hurt. We're down big. He took 2 charges for us. He was visibly upset after the game about play, and but I don't think we can chalk last night up as, man, it was a bad night. I think there are things that have to be corrected. And the nice thing is, after tonight, we only have 1 game next week. We can really work on some things, because I told my kids, as tough as playing at Carbondale is, next Friday night is tougher as far as in the league. So,
of course, tonight you have a big game as you return home against Northwest Academy of Law to St. Louis. They are the Hornets. And what do we know about NWA?
You know what? They have played a lot of really good people. I think that's kind of what stands out. They're 8-5, and they have played some good people. Their 5 losses are Alton, and Alton beat them pretty good the very first game of the year. Jacksonville beat them by, I think, 3. Chaminade beat them pretty good. Cardinal Ritter beat them by 4 or 5, and then let's say maybe O'Fallon beat them by 6 or 7. So they've played good people. They've beaten a couple of good teams. I mean, they're 8-5, playing a really nice schedule. The thing about them is they don't play any home games. So they're 8-5 and not getting to play at home. So everything, they're not playing on the road's not going to be anything new to them. They've got a lot of size. That's Coach Nash helped me out with them on film and stuff, and I mean, they've got a 6'8" kid in the middle who offensively is not overly skilled, but he's 6'8", and he does have a little bit of he can score when he gets it in good spots. Their best player, or at least their leading scorer, the kid that I kind of like the most for them, is a 6'5" kid that plays around the basket. He slashes a little bit. I mean, they've got a really nice point guard they have a really nice shooting guard that can shoot the basketball and can score. I think Tom and I talked last night on the way home. Is it a good thing or a bad thing that we're playing tonight, coming off what we just came off of? And I have to think it's probably a good thing, to where we get the opportunity to get a really bad taste out of our mouth immediately. Our kids have done a good job at bouncing back after really bad losses, and it's just nice to have that opportunity. I would hate to have to sit through an entire week after last night before we get another chance to play. But they have 2 kids, the 6'5" kid inside, and then their 6-foot shooting guard, that put up a lot of points, and then it drops down significantly statistically. Their 6'5" kids averaging like 21 a game. Their 2 guards averaging 19 a game. So they're getting 40 points a game out of those 2 kids, and then after that, just some normal points.
I know you always like to talk about some other things other than Rams basketball, but last night you find out how Marion wins the game with Mo Jackson at the line against Carbondale. Time had already expired. What's your initial thought process when you get that information?
Yeah, well, the first thing is seeing the halftime score and then hearing from you about that really shocked me, because usually when Cahokia has that kind of lead, they're not letting it go. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty ironic that it happens. Same situation happens in 2 games, and I guess there were a couple technicals in the second half of that game, and that's a huge win for Marion to beat Cahokia. And I think last night just goes to show at times how difficult it's going to be to win on the road. I mean, all 3 home teams won last night, and I would say that. I mean, I'm not trying to say anything against Althoff or Marion. Centralia is ranked 4th in the state. Tokyo is ranked 8th in the state. I would think those two teams would probably be favored to win last night, and a great job by Belleville Althoff to knock off undefeated Centralia, and an unbelievable job by Marion to come from 15 down at the half to knock off Cahokia.
How worried are you? How much luck is too much luck for New England tonight at 7 o'clock?
I don't think there's luck needed there.
Okay.
Oh, I got what you're saying.
There you go.
I got the little plan. Look at that. Yeah. I was glad that, I'm glad that they're playing Indianapolis. I did not want to have to play Cincinnati with their defense and everything, but New England's a funny team. New England's not anything special. They're just so well coached, and they do what they do so well. And so
tonight,
they can take care of this.
While your game's going on, do you want us to slide something down the booth like a dry erase board says 12 minutes in the first quarter, here's the score, and then pick it back up to kind of keep you updated?
I guess it would kind of depend on how our game was going.
Okay, yeah.
So, are you going to channel your inner Belichick and wear a 3/4 cut hoodie tonight? The cut sleeves?
You never know.
You might as well.
Need to do something to switch things up after last night. And that's, you hope so for our kids after the game was you look around, not that we're anything great, but we're way too good to get beat 30 by anybody. And we have too much in terms of being able to handle the ball, and we should not be getting beat 30. So for us to get beat 30, that means that we did not fight, and we did not, I don't know if try is the word, but we did not scrap, fight, play like we need to play. Because if we would have kept fighting and playing the entire game, we're not getting beat 30. And I thought we cashed it in early last night. I thought early to midway through the second quarter, we had a couple kids that had cashed it in for the night, and we got to get rid of that, because you can lose, and I think you can handle as a coach losing. If you lose giving it everything you've got, and you lose making the other team pay a price to win, you cannot handle losing like we lost last night, where you're not getting back on defense, you're not fighting on defense, you're giving up loose balls, you're giving up offensive rebounds, and that's what we have to change. And it's got to change quick, because Northwest Academy is a good team. I've seen them on film. I've seen who they play, who they've beaten, who they've lost to. If we do not come out and play really well tonight, we won't win tonight. Then we go to Centralia. Then we go to the Salem tournament, which, after last night, our seed's probably not going to be real good. With Marion winning and us losing, we're probably looking at playing possibly Effingham in the first round. Then we have a long stretch where we're on the road. We've got to get better quick, because if not, you can get in a bad tailspin right here.
Final question for you, of course, our social media question of the week, and this week's question is, I got to find it, is what TV show or sport do you watch and can't figure out why you're watching it?
Well, the other night I was watching SIU and Loyola and couldn't really figure out why I was watching SIU and Loyola. I don't know. Have you guys ever watched the old Nickelodeon show Hey Dude?
Unfortunately.
You guys remember that show?
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yes. They've played those lately. They started, so I've been DVRing those, and that show was so cheap and so bad that I still watch it like every night before I go to bed.
You know who was on that show? What's her? Christine Taylor, who's now Ben Stiller's wife. It was before she was hot.
Yeah, I did not know that was her until, like I said, about 2 weeks ago when I started DVR. They started showing them from episode 1 on.
Nice.
And yeah.
I was more of a salute your shorts guy than a hey dude guy, but
I like that was another one I really, really liked.
there you go. See, it's not always negative. We go into the positive here on the Saturday Sports Show, but hoping
You can't do that on television.
Yeah.
Another great Nickelodeon show.
Alanis Morissette was on there back in the day.
Yep.
Yeah, good stuff. Scotty, we'll see you tonight. Hoping for more good things out of the Mount Vernon Rams against the NWA Hornets.
All right, thanks a lot.
That's Scott Gamber, head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams. And we should have just gone social media question to start off and gone down a trip down Nickelodeon memory lane.
Hey, dude.
How about Double Dare with Mark Summers?
Yeah, that was cheesy.
Fellow
a lot
OC
of cheesy things
fellow
when
OCD
Nickelodeon
guy.
came out.
Yep. We need to take a break, though. Curious to see what Brian Gamber's answer is going to be now. Of course, he's the head coach of the Waltonville Spartans. We'll take a break, come back, talk with Brian about his team's game today against the Diedrich Movin' Maroons. That is at the St. Anthony Shootout, 11:15 pregame on WMIX 940, WMIXsports.com. Saturday Sports Show powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
This is Chase Landers with Landers Collision Centers. Imagine this. You're driving down the road. It's dark as can be outside. Thank goodness you just had that left headlight bulb replaced. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see a thing. Now, close your eyes. Okay, don't close your eyes. You're supposed to be driving. Imagine noticing a slight twinkle off to the left, just above the ditch. What is that, you think to yourself? All of a sudden, whap! You've just encountered your first deer hit. The left side of your vehicle is beat up pretty bad. The next thing I want you to imagine is very simple. Picking up your phone and dialing 1-888-LANDERS to set up your repair. Deer claims are common, and usually a very simple process which fall under comprehensive coverage. This is Chase Landers asking you to allow Landers to be your collision repair shop of choice. Whether it be a deer hit, fender bender, or the regular, uh-oh, sorry mom, Landers is here for you whenever you need us. Big or small, Landers fixes them all. 1-888-LANDERS. That's 1-888-LANDERS.
Your spine is a miracle of engineering, so when pain strikes, your body is telling you to get help fast. The Orthopedic Center of Southern Illinois is proud to feature their spine care team. Doctors Kowalski and Smith, the professionals at Orthopedic Center, specialize in back and neck pain. So put our spine care team on the job. Find out more online at orthocenter-si.com. Stop the pain, fix the problem, and enjoy life again. The Orthopedic Center of Southern Illinois.
Hi, this is Joe David Cummins, President of Community First Bank. By now you have heard about our new One Checking product. The new One account is a high interest earning, free checking account designed for everyone. Unlike other banks that pay interest on higher balance, this account pays interest on all balances. From high schoolers to Warren Buffett, One will work for you. You can talk to one of us at 244-3000 and learn about the details. One, exclusively at Community First Bank. You will be one happy customer. Member FDIC.
And we welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com with Danny Zerwinski. I'm Chris Shugo. Of course, we appear courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
You bet it is. Brian Gamber, head coach of the Waltonville Spartans, joins us now. Brian, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
Pretty good. You lose every game this week, of course, except for today due to the weather. But thankfully, you get games in last weekend, wins against Weber Township and North Clay in Midland Trail Conference play. You guys are sitting 2-1 in the conference right now. Have to be pretty proud of that effort. I know you're itching to get at it today.
Yeah, absolutely. With the weather, it's kind of been a weird year and having a lot of downtime, a lot of practice time. But yeah, it was good to get Friday and Saturday in last weekend, and I felt like we played very well both games. We went to Weber. I felt like we executed well defensively. I felt like we were engaged and did a good job making it tough on them. And then going over to North Clay, and they're athletic. They got a couple of kids that can really play, and to be able to go over there, and respond from having to play Friday night and turn around and play Saturday afternoon, it really felt like our kids did a good job, and I felt like we played hard and battled and limited them, and it was a great weekend for us. Unfortunately, we lost our games Tuesday and Wednesday. I probably would have liked to ride that momentum into this week, but that's just part of it. And, you got to be tough and be able to come back and respond in practice. And our kids are excited about today. There's no doubt. I know St. Anthony, they do a really good job of running this shootout. And, man, we play a very good Dietrich team today. And, getting ready to have a little practice and you get on the bus and see what we can do.
Looking at your schedule this week, you lost a couple of games as to the weather, and then you can't practice, obviously, Monday, Tuesday, road conditions too bad. How many practices did you get in this week?
Yeah, we got in here on Wednesday, Thursday, and then, of course, yesterday. So not ideal, obviously, after playing Saturday, took Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, which 3 days off is a lot. So coming in on Wednesday, I think our legs were a little bit out of it, so we did a lot of up and down stuff, try to get that conditioning back. But, they're young kids. I mean, they should be able to come back, and that should not be an issue. So it was good. I mean, we've had plenty of time to prepare. I know that Dietrich, they probably had a lot of preparation, thinking they were going to play last night, playing Altamont, which is their big rival, big conference game. They get canceled, so I'm sure they've had plenty of time to prepare for us. But yeah, I mean, we've had the time. We got a lot of practice time in. I think our kids are ready to go.
Ready to go today. What are the concerns you have with Dietrich today specifically?
Well, a couple things. One is they have two kids inside there about 6'5", a lot of length. They got a couple kids that can really shoot the basketball. They're quick, athletic. Teams with size are going to cause us some problems just because we just don't have a whole lot of it. But, if we play a certain way and do things right, I think we can negate that size advantage for them and maybe turn it around and make it a benefit for us, especially when we go small and maybe have those big guys try to chase us around the perimeter. They're extremely good. I mean, they're well coached. They're big. They're athletic. They can shoot it. They're tough. They play hard. That's one thing that stuck out on film is just how hard they play and how much they compete. So I told her, we're going to have our hands full today. I mean, we're going to have one of our best efforts to try to stay with them and hopefully keep it close. And as the game wears on, maybe we can we'll have a chance towards the end. But we're playing well right now. I mean, I know that every team wants to keep improving as the year goes on, and that's your goal, to be tough come regional time. And that's one thing we really talked about. We got a lot of younger kids, and I think they're buying into what we're teaching them, and they're doing a good job. I mean, they're playing hard and competing, which that's all you can ask for. And I'm hoping that we respond today and go compete, because if not, it's going to be a long afternoon, because they are extremely good and big, and they are going to play hard. That's one thing for sure about Dietrich teams.
Of course, we know you're busy today, obviously trying to practice probably before you get on the bus and head up to Effingham County. But our WMIX Sports social media question of the week, your brother had an interesting answer. And it is, what TV show or sport do you watch and can't figure out why you watch it?
Oh, man. I'll tell you what, I got a good one. I watched the show Restaurant Impossible with Robert Irvine, and I really have no idea why. I have no reason to watch. I don't want to own a restaurant. I'm a terrible cook, but for whatever reason, I like when Robert Irvine snaps on the guys that are running their restaurant to the ground. So maybe that's why.
Sometimes those shows just suck you in, but I also know that you make a mean buffalo chicken dip, so don't sell yourself short.
I appreciate that, but that's pretty much it. That's where it stops. So.
Oh, man. Brian, good luck today against the Moving Maroons. DC will be headed up there in just a few moments, so good luck against them, and good luck the rest of the way in Midland Trail Conference play.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
That is Brian Gamber, head coach of the Waltonville Spartans. Of course, I'm sure we'll get more than just his game today. We'll have the Midland Trail Conference tournament to look forward to in the coming weeks. Seeding for that is due Wednesday, so we'll probably see the pairings for that. And the bracket revealed not much longer after that. We need to get to Todd Rogers. He is the athletic director at Carterville High School, part of the Unit 5 district down there. We'll talk with him about the Carterville Winter Tournament. It actually gets started at 10 o'clock today. They have games going on in both gymnasiums. What a novel concept. We'll talk about that with Todd Rogers after the break on the Saturday Sports Show, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Mount Vernon is home to many wonderful people and things, and that includes quality cardiac care from Dr. Ruzaik Ibrahim. A skilled cardiologist, Dr. Ibrahim's training and scientific accomplishments have earned his designation as a Fellow of the American College of Cardiology. His services range from preventative care to the treatment of advanced heart conditions. For an appointment with Dr. Ibrahim at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 241-9071 or visit in person at 4113 South Water Tower, Mount Vernon.
Farming is critical to the continued growth of Southern Illinois, and I couldn't be more thankful for the service of the agriculture industry. Hi, Roy Schmidt, Ford dealer at Ford Square, Mount Vernon. We want to salute Farm Bureau members with a special incentive on remaining new 2013 Ford F-150s. If you are a Farm Bureau member, trade in a 1995 or newer Ford Ranger, you can purchase a new 2013 Ford F-150 two-wheel drive for only $18,000 plus tax, title, and destination. All you have to do is finance through Ford Motor Credit. Wow! We can't thank farmers enough for their dedication, but we can offer everyone in the Farm Bureau a great, honest deal on America's #1 truck. Come see one of our sales associates to get the best deal on the heavyweight truck champion at Ford Square, Mount Vernon, 1501 Broadway in Mount Vernon, Illinois, or shop us online at fordsquare.com and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
And we welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. It's powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
That's Danny Zerwinski. I'm Chris Hugo. So glad to have you with us as we roll into the latter portions of the 8 o'clock hour. Don't forget to give us a follow on Twitter at WMIX Sports. Our next guest, he is the athletic director at Carterville High School, Todd Rogers. Todd, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing great, and I imagine you're doing pretty well, getting prepared for the Carbondale the Carterville Winter Tournament, of course, starting today at 10 o'clock. Games in both of your gymnasiums, the auxiliary gym and the competition gym. And for schools who may be getting ready to build a new institution, it sure is nice to have two gymnasiums like that, isn't it?
Oh, you can never have enough gym space. I mean, they're in use all the time, day and night, and so if you ever get that opportunity, absolutely, you could always use the gym space.
Looking at this tournament, I like the concept. There are so many ways to get games. I love the fact there's multiple gyms, multiple games. Teams are going to get a couple of games in today. This is nice to have. Talk about the format, and what is the format and setup here of this Carterville tournament?
Well, we started this is our fourth year, and we did it to try to obviously get some more home games, but to also play some teams that we don't see on our schedule. When we switched over conferences, we lost some of our teams that we had played in the past, and this is a little bit different tournament. The idea is to get as many games in as you can. It's not necessarily a team champion. In fact, we don't give a championship trophy. We just try to match up teams that don't get a chance to play each other and try to stay away from conference teams. So it's a good mix of 1A and 2A schools. It's gotten bigger over time here, so everybody's going to get 5 games. They get 2 today, 1 on Wednesday, and 2 the following Saturday, and hopefully we'll see a lot of good basketball.
A nice mix of teams, I noticed. And when you set something up like this, how hard is it with the number of teams involved in the same conference, everything? How hard is it to keep everybody away from everybody as far as playing teams in the same conference or who they play most of the time regular season?
It took some effort. Like I said, DuQuoin just joined this year for the first time, so with us being in the Mississippi side with them, we've obviously avoided them. We have some other conference teams that we've had to try to make those adjustments, and I think that's kind of the beauty of doing it the way we've done it, is just to give games, not worry about a trophy and a team champion, just give the opportunity for some teams to see some teams they normally don't see. And so if it was pool play, then obviously we would come down to the end where it'd be a chance of playing a conference school or something like that. And who knows, over time, depending on how many teams stay in or get out, we may have to change the format, but that's been the format that's worked best for us so far.
A format that works really well is Carterville girls basketball over the years. You were a head coach for a long time with Keenan Clark, and then you've passed the torch on to Matt Crane. I mean, Carterville's not, been known for other sports, but Carterville girls basketball has been very good for a long time.
I've been very fortunate. I've coached some great athletes the past 10 years before giving it up this year, and we have had some success. And the thing is that they're just good kids. They work hard. They've been a pleasure to coach, and that's continued with Coach Crane. He's got some great talent there, and they're very motivated to make their mark. And it has been, everybody has their ups and downs, obviously, but we've had some success in the last 11 years.
Looking at that, Carterville, your move, I'd like to ask you, you were the AD, obviously, for a long time AD. You were in there when the Carterville Lions moved from the Black Diamond to the River to River. As an AD, looking at all of your sports, not one or two, how has that fit gone for Carterville based on competition, increasing enrollment, and all any other factors you want to bring up?
I think it's been a great switch for us. We had obviously we had a lot of great rivalries with the Black Diamond Conference, and we still have some of those on our schedule and have great relationships with them. So it was, working with those guys as a first-time AD 13 years ago when I came here, like Ross Babington, John Kretz, and some of those gentlemen that helped me along my way as a beginner. Those were great relationships to have. But as our enrollment has grown, it was an obvious move to make. It was a tough move to make. There's a lot of emotions and feelings and things involved of that nature, but it's been a great switch for us. We've established new rivalries and new relationships. I feel like we've been pretty competitive in all of our sports, and just like anything else, and this, some sports it doesn't matter. Some sports we're going to be competitive just about any conference we get in, and some sports it's going to be tougher, and some sports it'll be easier, but it's been a great fit, and it's been fun establishing those new relationships.
Of course, from Robinson, you come from Oblong down to Carterville. Have you ever seen anything like the growth that Carterville has experienced as a community and as a Unit 5 district? Have you ever seen anything like that before, just the expansive?
No, it's quite amazing. I think we're up 70 kids this year from last year, and I think we're probably going to be up possibly over 600 kids next year. So we're experiencing great growth. I attribute that to how well we've done academically and the quality of our faculty and staff and our facilities, and it's a pretty good place to be, a pretty good place to live. But no, I have not seen that kind of growth. In fact, we've looked around at other areas. Our principal and guidance counselors took a trip to Mascoutah, who experienced rapid growth as well, just to prepare here for the future. What were some of the challenges they faced, and so we can start getting prepared for some of those things.
Final question for you. It's going to get real busy for you starting at 10 a.m. Our WMIX Sports social media question of the week this week is, what TV show or sport do you watch and can't figure out why you're watching it?
Oh, my. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of TV. I'm usually here.
Right.
So that's a tough question, but with my younger children that I have, I sit and watch a lot of Boomerang and Nickelodeon and those things, and I guess I would say Phineas and Ferb. How about that for an answer?
There you go.
That works.
Yeah, but that's one that we like at home.
Coach, we know you're busy today. Your tournament gets started at 10 o'clock in both gymnasiums, and not only the best of luck in running that tournament, as you guys have done so well for so long, but thank you for taking the time to join us on a busy day.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We've got just a little plug for everybody else. We're hosting 8 teams here today for Scholar Bowl. We're going to the Murdale Wrestling Tournament. We're at Murfreesboro for a boys basketball game. We're hosting a big bowling event out at SI Bowl right now, and so we got a lot of kids going all different directions. So I think we'll have 18 schools in this building today.
Just tell me that the softball coaches are actually working today in this.
Oh, it's Saturday. What do you think?
Probably not then. Never mind.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, we appreciate the time, Coach. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
That's Todd Rogers, the athletic director at Carterville, Unit 5, or the high school. And a lot of people know, he mentioned Scholar Bowl. Actually, Carterville's a Scholar Bowl powerhouse that a lot of people don't know about, because Scholar Bowl doesn't get probably the pub it deserves, but it does here. That's all that matters. Here on the Saturday Sports Show, we appear courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
When we come back, we'll have Tony Richardson. He is the athletic director at Wayne City High School. We're going to talk with Tony more so about just how big of a hassle it can be to have to reschedule games after so many postponements due to the weather. That's all coming up here on the Saturday Sports Show. We're back after these.
I'm Jeremy Pearson with a look at your next rad weather. Clouds will give way to some sunshine today. We'll see temperatures fall into the upper 30s and rebounding close to 45 this afternoon. Partly cloudy tonight, low 26. Mostly sunny and breezy tomorrow, high 52. And Monday's looking mostly cloudy with a bit of rain possible, high 48. Next rad weather from WMIX, Mount Vernon, Illinois.
Dig in with full contact coal miner training at Red Lake College. Learn in our new 20,000 square feet coal mine training center. Use real equipment like continuous miners and power sitters, and check out the new mine rescue and fire safety training tunnel. Associate degree and occupational certificates available.
We're full contact, hands-on coal mining. Real equipment, real live all the time.
What are you waiting for? Call 618-437-5321 and get started.
The health of your kidneys has a big impact on your overall health, affecting everything from your blood pressure to your bones. And if you ever have a kidney problem, Dr. Kangura is here to help. Dr. Kangura trained at the Mayo Clinic and specializes in conditions ranging from kidney stones and uncontrolled high blood pressure to chronic kidney disease. Dr. Kangura sees patients at Crossroads Specialty Clinic. For an appointment, call 618-241-9071.
And we welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. It's powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital. It is what healthcare should be, no doubt about that. Of course, we appreciate everybody for tuning in thus far this morning as we get into the very final parts of the 8 o'clock hour. We welcome to the program the athletic director at Wayne City. He's Tony Richardson. Tony, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
You know what? Winter weather, for some reason this year, I don't know if poor Richard predicted it accurately or not, but it has just been a pain for athletic directors, schools, and the like. And how difficult has it been to deal with not only school cancellations, but to have to work around a no school, no play policy?
Yeah, it's been a struggle, especially kind of rescheduling games, and we've lost six boys varsity basketball games this year. Had to reschedule, and then girls side we've had 4, and then grade school wise we've lost a couple of games there this week, and when we had that earlier snowstorm, we had a grade school tournament that started on I think it was December 2nd, and we finished it on December 19th. So it's been a struggle, and it's been a challenge, and ready for this snow to stop.
Take us through when the snow, first off from the school perspective, when you're dealing with school rules, no school, no practice, no play, as you do there, and then dealing with what's the process of dealing with your coach, your team that you've got to worry about, your gymnasium, your officials, and the other school involved. How does that all work in the process for those not familiar with that situation from that non-school job?
Yeah, see, it's our policies. We could still practice. We get together and coaches will call and say, "Hey, what do you think about practice?" And then we kind of make a decision. Because most of our kids, kind of have some vehicles that they can get in, or parents can get them in. So we do practice if we think that it's safe to practice. So I know a lot of schools have went against that. I know that I think it was Fairfield played Thursday night, and I don't think they had practice for 4 or 5 days in a row. So it's a challenge there as a coach, because coach, he wants to practice all the time, but sometimes you've got to kind of rein that back and say, hey, you can have practice today because of the conditions. So different schools are different about that. Most schools went to no school, no play, which is a good idea, because it's too bad to go to school. Obviously, I think it's too bad to have a game. So, and in some schools actually have a policy: if you don't have school on Friday, then you can't play Saturday, which has kind of hit us a little bit because we were supposed to play Patoka today, which the weather should be fine, but they didn't have school on Friday, and they canceled our game for Patoka. So we lost 3 games here recently, and trying to fit that in the schedule has been rather hectic.
Well, and, so much going on. I mean, the weather played havoc. Luckily, not as much so with the Conrad Allen, but we know it did with your junior high tournament. So you had those 2 things running concurrently. Does it become a stressful situation when you have that many things going on at once and you're unsure of what Mom Nature is going to do from day to day?
Yeah, it's especially, this is my 19th year as athletic director, so probably, I remember the first time it happened during the Conrad Allen. I think it was like 99, and that was probably my 6th or 7th year, and it was stressful. I mean, you're trying to call teams and see if they can make it, and all officials and get them trying to figure out who's going to do what games, and for the most part, the officials are pretty good about it because they'll say, hey, I'm open today, and if you need somebody, these are the days I'm open. So for the most part, the officials are pretty good about it, especially in tournaments and things. that's non-Tuesday, Friday games. It's a lot easier there. But if you reschedule someone on a Tuesday or Friday, it's a chore. You might have to, call 50, 60 officials before you find a crew that's open. So that's the stress-wise. I mean, as you get older, it becomes a little less, but still, sometimes it becomes stressful whenever you got a game the next day and you don't have officials yet, and that can get stressful on you.
Well, and then, another thing you have to consider when you're looking at dates to reschedule, obviously they have to be mutually beneficial to both schools. Is it just something where at this point you just start to maybe look for just any open dates that both of you may have, or is there a strategy behind that to where maybe you don't have to play conference games on back-to-back nights or play a conference game on a Tuesday and have a long road trip on a Wednesday, or do you just really take the most beneficial?
Yeah, it's difficult to find that. We tried not to play back-to-back conference games, or if we have a conference game, we like to play it before the non-conference game. So, like, if we have a conference game non-conference on Tuesday, we might try to play the conference game on Monday. That way we get the conference game out of the way, and the kids are a little fresher there. So, but with media better and all the schedules pretty well on the internet, you can just pull their schedule up, and you got your schedule right next to it, and you just start going through dates, and we got the school calendar, right there, and so you got three devices right there next to you, and you just kind of go through. We got a school event, we can't do it that day, or what. So you just kind of just go down your schedule and go there. Recently we've left the last week. We play that Friday of the last week of the season, and try to leave that week, rest of the week, that open for possible snow dates, because you usually have maybe one or possibly two a year, and then you got that last week, and now that last week we got 4 games. So,
well,
from 1 to 4. So
I know it's a tough thing to have to deal with. Hopefully our social media question of the week isn't quite as difficult. I know you were somewhat concerned about it yesterday, but we do want to know, which TV show or sport do you watch, but yet don't understand why you watch it?
Really, most of the thing I watch is sports, so there's a reason for that. But we haven't been at school the last 5 days, so I watched a little ultimate dodgeball,
nice,
which I normally wouldn't watch. And my mother-in-law, she's been at my house a couple times, and I've been out at hers, and I've watched probably 30 minutes of Young and the Restless, and I still haven't figured out why, but not much has changed in probably the 20 years I saw it last. So
I was going to say, DC and I were at a game. DC, of course, probably shouldn't tell everybody this, watches that show, obviously, and we were talking about it. And it's like, I used to watch it when I was a kid, and I was able to guess everything that happened. And it's been it has been about 20 years since I've watched it. But I mean, you can always guess what's going on. You don't even have to watch it day to day, and that's the crazy thing about it. But Tony, we appreciate your time this morning. Obviously, know you're a busy guy trying to get everything scheduled, rescheduled, and notify everybody. But thank you for taking the time to talk about that and help us understand better what you guys have to go through whenever winter weather or any type of rain or cancellations come in.
Hey, thanks a lot.
That's Tony Richardson. He is the athletic director at Wayne City, and it's not an easy position to be in when you have to do that. I certainly do not envy him. We'll take a break. When we come back, we will actually have our WMIXsports.com scoreboard. So we'll take a break, come back, get you set up with that here on the Saturday Sports Show. It's powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital. It is what healthcare should be. Back after this.
There's a good reason why Second Chance Auto has been in business for 33 years. They believe in doing business the right way, with honest deals. It's the only way they know. And thanks to Second Chance Auto, you don't have to head out of town to get financing. They offer bank rate financing to everyone. Yes, everyone. You'll find a great selection of quality vehicles with 3-month or 3,000-mile warranties. Come see why they've been successful for 33 years at Second Chance Auto. Route 142 East in Mount Vernon. Call 244-4582.
If you can't pick us up where you live, move. This is WMIX, Mount Vernon, Marion, another Withers Broadcasting Station.
When you hear the warm, inviting sound of a crackling fire, what comes to mind? A rustic campground? A cozy cabin? How about the new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center? Our new family lounges feature a lot of comforts you might not expect. Things like this. No, that's not a babbling brook or serene stream out in the countryside. It's a 2-story waterfall located right here at Good Samaritan. And that's not the only way we're raising the bar for patient comfort. we've added lush healing gardens, as well as wall after wall of beautiful artwork, all designed to create the perfect healing atmosphere. And if all this sounds like music to your ears, we encourage you to check us out. Chances are, we're not too far from where you are right now.
The new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center. Raising a hospital, raising the bar.
Hi, this is Joe David Cummins, President of Community First Bank. Now is a great time to move your account to Community First Bank. With our new One Account offering the highest interest rate in the market, free checking, and CD specials delivered by people you know and trust, why would you not bank with the market leader in Jefferson County? We offer 5 locations with 7 ATMs and have been serving the Jefferson County market since 1906. Stop in and see why our bank is the fastest growing bank in Jefferson County. Community First Bank. Welcome back to Personal Banking. Member FDIC.
And we welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. It's powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital. It's what healthcare should be. Taking a look at your WMIXSports.com prep scoreboard from last night in the South 7 Conference. You heard it here on WMIX. You watched it at WMIXSports.com. The Mount Vernon Rams fell to the Carbondale Terriers 73-44. Marion surprises 8th-ranked Cahokia 59-58. Mo Jackson, second verse, same as the first. They get a second conference win with free throws after time had expired. It was Mo Jackson at the line again. He was fouled on the three-point shot, only had to make the first. And Marion takes away a 59-58 win. Althoff beats previously undefeated Centralia 69-58. In the BDC last night, it was SV over Alvarado 91-31. El Dorado beat Carmi 62-47. Johnston City beat Vienna 53-34. It was Goreville 59, Trico 46. And ZR beats Chester 51-46. In the river-to-river Mississippi last night, Nashville beats Pinckneyville 59-45. AJ over DuQuoin 46-30. It was Carterville over Sparta 70-55. In the Ohio last night, Benton beats Massac County. Benton tied atop the conference race with Massac now 69-62. Harrisburg 4 better than Murphy 58-54. Uh-oh, lost my place. That's not good. Heron beats West Frankfort 56-52. In the Greater Egyptian Conference, Gallatin County over Pope County big 96-35. It was Hardin County over Thompsonville 53-47. In the Southwestern last night, losing some stuff here. That's not good. Alton beat Belleville West 52-43. It was Eastside over Granite 55-35. Belleville East 40. Collinsville 36. Plenty more to where that came from at WMIXSports.com, including Mount Zion's 63-40 win over the Apollo Conference rival and Salem Wildcats. Mattoon beat Charleston 82-44. My mouse is going crazy on my laptop, so we'll stop there. That is your WMIXSports.com scoreboard. Stop. Here on the Saturday Sports Show. Don't forget to find that at WMIXSports.com. Jeff Lonan, Lady Rams basketball to come here. We'll take a quick break, catch up with Lonan here on the Saturday Sports Show. It's powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital. It's what healthcare should be. We're back after this.
Are you interested in a career in the culinary arts but can never afford the high cost of cooking school? Rend Lake College has a low-cost recipe for success. For as little as $5,500 per year, you can get a quality culinary arts education in your own backyard. That even includes books, tuitions, class fees, and supplies. Learn to master domestic fare, pastry, and foreign cuisine in Ina, Illinois. Save thousands on a culinary arts education at Rend Lake College. For more information, log on to rlc.edu/culinary arts.
Here's Jeff Schmidt for Schmidt Chevrolet of Mount Vernon.
Business is really good. The new Silverado is selling very well. We're very pleased. It's a remarkable truck. It absolutely blows away the competition. The Dodge Ram and the Ford F-150 do not compare with this new truck. It's beautiful. It's laid out well. The seats are very comfortable. There is no other truck on the market that compares with the new Silverado.
Schmidt Chevrolet of Mount Vernon, 3423 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
A digestive problem can affect every area of your life, but now there's a specialist right here in town who focuses on digestive health. Mayo Clinic trained Dr. Tegpaul Atwal has opened the only gastroenterology clinic in Mount Vernon. Dr. Atwal treats acid reflux, gallbladder problems, inflammatory bowel disease, ulcers, and more. For your appointment with Dr. Atwal at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 618-241-9071.
And we welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. Working to catch up with Lady Rams head basketball coach Jeff Lonnen. Surprise, surprise. We'll talk with him if we can catch him about today's game versus Triad. And if there's anybody itchy to get out there and play a game, it has to be the Lady Rams. Lady Rams have not played since the Mascoutah Holiday Tournament back on December the 27th. They lost to Freeburg in a close one, 43-40. Have not played since. Lost a couple of games. Tuesday, they were supposed to have traveled to St. Anthony to take on the Lady Bulldogs, and on Thursday night, supposed to have played Christ Our Rock Lutheran. So as far as non-tournament games, the Lady Rams haven't really played since that game against Carbondale. That was their last win anyway. And then prior to that, have not been at home in quite a while. So it's been a while since the Lady Rams have seen the friendly confines of Saginaw Gymnasium. They hope to see that today with a 1 o'clock JV start. Of course, we'll have that game for you on 94.1 FM. Online at WMIXSports.com, streaming video for that one when the Lady Rams take the floor today. So we're glad to have the Lady Rams back on the air, and we'll try to be with them the rest of the way. Of course, they will head to the Carbondale Midwinter Tournament here shortly, but you take a look at what the Lady Rams have on the schedule. They'll actually have a busy week coming up, as on Monday they will travel to Altsoff to take on the Crusaders. We'll have that game for you on 94.1 and WMIXSports.com as well. Then a rematch, and I think this is one that the Terriers are going to have pinpointed on the schedule, as they will take on Carbondale at home. That game on Thursday will actually be on AM 940, or you can watch it at WMIXSports.com. And then they head to Carbondale on January the 20th. We welcome Lady Rams head basketball coach Jeff Lonnen. Coach, good morning.
What's up, guys?
Well, just Guy right now. DC's on his way to Effingham to cover a game in the St. Anthony shootout, but yeah, good times. Lonnen, you've got to be ready to play a game. It has been since the Mascoutah Holiday Tournament, a tough loss against Freeburg. Have not played since December the 27th. How ready are you guys? How ready are your girls to get out there and play a game today?
We're very ready, and I'm just ecstatic that it's not snowing. I mean, or something with the roads, or, you know, I guess Triad wasn't even at school yesterday, so I think I learned that from you on the broadcast last night. So, you know, you immediately kind of cost me some sleep last night, because I immediately started wondering if I was going to get a call this morning.
Well,
you know, from the boss telling me that we weren't going to play.
No, they live in a civilized world, and they have school buses. That makes a difference.
Yeah, that does make a difference, but the way it's been going lately, you just never know. So, but, you know, I didn't get a call this morning, so we're obviously we're on, and freshmen are playing this morning as well at 10 o'clock in Salem, so we have a big day of basketball for all our levels today. So I'm just going to watch our freshmen at 10, and then our JVs will come in about noon and prepare for a 1 o'clock start for them, and then we'll play after that. So it's a big day of basketball for us, and we certainly need it, because it's been a long time.
Yes, it has. Triad today at 1 o'clock. That's become a nice little rivalry, of course, for the Lady Rams, and definitely a winnable game. What do we know about the Lady Knights in 2013-14?
We played them in Nashville, and
that's right.
They were not playing very well early. They have a new coach, and the sense I got when we played them was he knew what he was doing, and he was going to work very hard with them. He seemed like he had a lot of passion. He seemed like he was very sincere after the game. He may be the only coach that I've had in however many years it's been that actually apologized to me because they played poorly. And I thought that showed a lot of class. I believe the guys got them playing hard. I looked at their record. They've won 4 games now, and that's a big improvement, because this is a program now that hit rock bottom last year, and I believe either won none or one game the entire year last year. So they've already got 4. If you look at their scores, the games that they're losing, they're not getting blown out anymore. They're within, you know, single digits, or, you know, 10 or 12 points. And it doesn't surprise me, because I just felt like, you know, when I saw them at Nashville, I just felt like they had some tools. They're pretty good size-wise. They're pretty big. And then, like I said, I really got the sense that their coach was going to be very passionate and coach them hard. So, you know, I'm looking forward to today. You know, it's a winnable game for us, but we certainly have to show up to play. And with the layoff that we've had, who knows? what we're going to look like today. That just makes you nervous.
Well, and then not only that, you don't have much time to rest if you do get a big win today. You have to go to Althoff on Monday night. You have Carbondale coming back home on Thursday. So it's a tough stretch for the Lady Rams heading into Carbondale the week after that.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, it's going to be a tough stretch now all the way through January. I mean, if you look past next week, you're looking at teams like Highland, and you're looking at playing in that midwinter where we're going to get Massac again, and then we're going to play Collinsville, and we're going to play Mascoutah, who's already beat us once, and then you talk about the conference and finishing strong in that, and there just doesn't appear to be a break in there where you can just say, hey, we're going to win this one for sure, or we're going to go on a run here. I mean, things could go either way there for a real long stretch because of the teams that we play and the quality of our opponents. So, yeah, it's an exciting time. But we're just glad to be playing. If your team's going to play well and win some of those games, they have to play and they have to get in a rhythm and they have to get comfortable with themselves. And when you're not playing for a couple weeks at a time, and it's just that's not good. You got to be playing, and you've got to find a rhythm and chemistry that fits your kids. And hopefully today this will start a streak of games that aren't canceled, and we can get into a rhythm going into the conference second part into the regional.
Well, and of course, a busy week coming up. I know you have a busy day-to-day with the freshmen, but before we get to the social media question, we haven't really talked about your freshmen this year. You have a new freshman coach in Ryan Maurer. How big of an addition has he been to your program?
Extremely huge. I mean, here's a guy who played at Mount Vernon, who played under a quality basketball coach and Coach Creel, a guy who has a background in it. And look, I'm just blessed all the way around because, I got Lance Bolt helping me at the JV level, and, same deal, just a big background, athletic background, and understands the game. They're both very passionate about it. They're both very knowledgeable. I can defer to them a lot with, questions or opinions and feel like I'm getting, probably the best answer I could possibly get back from anybody. It's just a good situation with our coaches. And I think that Ryan has just really taken to it, like a fish to water right off the bat. And I think he's enjoying it. I think he's learning a little bit, along the way about, coaching the girls' game as opposed to the boys' game. And I think that he's really liking that. He's enjoying it, and he's got a group of kids there that have got some talent. The bad thing about them is they've just been a victim of the weather. I think today's going to be like their fifth game this year total. So, I think they got third at the Belleville East tournament. They had a really great win against Nashville, in which they won by about 40 points, and they lost a couple close ones otherwise. And then today, hopefully they can get a win. So that group is a pretty good group, and we've actually moved 4 or 5 of them up to the JV level already. So I think we're going to get young next year with them. I think some of them will have to come up and play some varsity basketball, and then there's going to be some growing pains. But I feel like the year after that, the next couple of years after that, we're going to be, pretty competitive with those kids. So we're pretty excited about that group.
Of course, that brings us to the WMIX Sports Social Media Question of the Week. Lon, and we want to know, as soon as I can remember what it was, what TV show or sport do you watch, but yet you can't figure out why you watch it? Because we all have that show we're addicted to, but we're not quite sure why.
I think probably poker.
Really? The WSOP? You watch the World Series of Poker? Or just any poker?
The moneymaker guy and the little Chinese guy that's always on there winning all the time. And what's the other guy's name? Oh, gosh, I can't think of it. But, I catch myself watching that poker on TV a lot, and it's not hard because it seems like it's on about every channel late at night. but it's got to be poker. There's no question about it. Because I mean, when you think about it, I mean, that's some boring stuff. You know, really, to sit there and watch. It's almost like soccer. I mean, I feel like even though poker, I think, is probably a little bit more exciting than soccer, but to watch anyway. I think soccer's probably a really fun game to play, if I remember from my youth league days in Decatur. But to watch poker, it's probably poker. It probably makes no sense that I sit there and watch that, and I catch myself in a trance after about 30 minutes still watching it. I don't know. It's just probably poker, and I may be the only guy you get that answer from, but I think it's a good one.
Could be. It is a great one. Of course, they talk about the river and the flop and all that, and it's hard not to get sucked in by cards on TV.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that I brought up soccer there, and that's probably a good one too, because I just feel like soccer is not really a very fun sport to watch. But I'd probably say poker a little bit over soccer, just because you're just watching guys play cards.
Well, you're going with poker.
That's not very exciting.
You're going with poker because I've already posted it to Facebook before you brought up soccer. So that is your that is your answer.
That is my answer.
Yes, sir.
That's my final answer.
You betcha.
Going with it.
We'll see you today. Lady Knights of Triad come to town. We'll have that for you. Of course, we'll film for you, so you don't need to bring anything. We've got that all taken care of. Okay?
That's good. That's good, because right now I bought a new camera, and I'm fighting it right now.
Well,
I need to read the instructions.
Luckily, Crow will be there. He can help you with that. Lana, we'll talk to you here soon.
All right, Chris. Thanks for calling.
Always a pleasure. That's Jeff Lonan, head coach of the Lady Rams. Of course, we'll have their game today against Triad. We'll take a quick break here on the Saturday Sports Show. It's presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital. It's what healthcare should be. Scott McElravy of the Fairfield Mules is next. We're back after these.
I'm Jeremy Pearson with a look at your next rad weather. Clouds will give way to some sunshine today. We'll see temperatures fall into the upper 30s and rebounding close to 45 this afternoon. Partly cloudy tonight, low 26. Mostly sunny and breezy tomorrow, high 52. And Monday's looking mostly cloudy with a bit of rain possible, high 48. Next rad weather from WMIX, Mount Vernon, Illinois.
The Medicine Shop Pharmacy offers convenience and great service, all for the same cost. Our pharmacy staff is so helpful. They're always ready to answer any questions you may have. You'll never wait hours for your prescription. We'll get you in and out in just minutes. Or, for added convenience, use one of our 2 drive-through windows. For those folks who prefer to stay home, our delivery service will bring the medications to your front door or your workplace. Here's pharmacist and pharmacy owner Eric Black to tell you more.
Home delivery does make us stand out from the crowd. Independents like the Medicine Shop offer home delivery. People find that so convenient, and not just seniors, but also busy professionals. Delivery to work or to their home once they get home in the evenings is just a service that sets us apart from our competition, absolutely.
It's so easy to transfer your prescriptions. All it takes is a phone call from you, and we'll take care of the rest. The Medicine Shop Pharmacy accepts Medco, TRICARE, Express Scripts, and many other 90-day plans. The Medicine Shop, 2339 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
It's back. The award-winning WMIX Sports Basketball Showcase has the very best in high school basketball this winter, and Community First Bank is along for the ride. Hi, this is Terry Prosize, a Vice President from Community First Bank of the Heartland. WMIX and WMIXSports.com will have the best games involving the Woodlawn Cardinals, Weber Trojans, Waltonville Spartans, Cecil Red Devils, and the Wayne City Indians. Tune in to WMIX and WMIX Sports for the showcase, presented by Community First Bank of the Heartland. Welcome back to Personal Banking. Member FDIC.
And we're back on the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. Chris Hugo with you in studio. Danny Zerwinski, of course, on assignment. He's headed to St. Anthony, where he will have the Waltonville Spartans and the Dietrich Movin Maroons. But, of course, before we get to that, we need to talk Fairfield Mules basketball. Head coach Scott McElravy joins us now on the Saturday Sports Show. Coach, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
You know what? Things are going very well for the Fairfield Mules, and as evidenced by a makeup game on Thursday night, you throttle El Dorado 75-52. So that's the right way to win a makeup game.
Yeah, I told Smothers we were on display, I think, for everybody. Since we had a Thursday game, we had 5 or 6 other coaches there watching. teams that were getting ready to play El Dorado, and then also teams that are getting ready to play us as well. But we're playing pretty well right now. 10-3, kind of game against Red Hills tonight.
Well, and of course, Red Hill, you mentioned the Slukies and an old NEC rivalry. How important is it to keep some of those old rivalries alive from the NEC conference?
Yeah, our kids now, they hear about the NEC, but, they're so far removed from it since we've been out for, not for sure, 7-8 years or so. But they know that we used to be in conference with them. We go up to their Capital Classic Thanksgiving tournament. So we've already played them. We beat them by 11. They're young. They're struggling a little bit this year. So, it's a game that, on paper we should win, but you got to show up and play all the games, and then we've got a really difficult stretch after that. So we need to be ready. We need to be sharp.
Well, we kind of take a glance back at the season to this point. The Mules are 10-3, 3-1 unofficially in the Black Diamond East, but you come off of a fifth-place finish at El Dorado. That's a pretty good finish for the Mules, considering that in that fifth-place game you got a nice win over a good Anna Jonesboro team.
Yeah, and, we were disappointed with the Union County game, but Union County came back the next day and almost beat Meridian, and they didn't play very well in the third-place game against Massac, but that happens sometimes when you play 4 days, 3 days, 4 days, whatever, the tournament. We had a big win against Frankfurt, who struggled a little bit lately, but I still think they're going to be okay. Anna, we actually get matched up again with them at the mid shootout later in the year. So that'll be another good game with them. They've got a lot of speed. They've got some good size as well.
Well, and then you look at the rest of your schedules. You talked about that a moment ago. You have Carmi on Tuesday. Then you head into the Carmi-White County Invite. Still Johnston City, a Wayne County clash with the Indians of Wayne City as you begin February. Still have to go back to El Dorado. You mentioned the Rich Heron Classic at Benton. But then you have Hamco, Vienna, Flora, and Carmi again, according to your original schedule. Things aren't going to get any easier for the Mules as you head towards the postseason.
No, and we play the next Tuesday. Actually, we play the defending state champs Harrisburg in a makeup game. Then we go Friday to Carmi. Then the next week of the Carmi tournament, we turn right back around and play Harrisburg. Then we have Mount Carmel, who's good. Mount Vernon, Indiana, which is a 3A school, and then the post school again. So our next 6 games. Then right after that tournament, we come right back to Johnson City. So our next 6 games are going to be real sellers as far as like how we progress with the team.
Well, and then of course, you have that 10-3 record. You're near the top of the BDC East. Talk about some of the kids that have helped you get to that point.
Well, we've got good leadership. We've got pretty much all 5 of our starters back. We start 2 juniors and Andrew Gifford at shooting guard, and then Jake in the middle, Daniel Lackey was 6'7". And then we've got Joseph Rogers, who's starter for us for about 2.5 years at the point, along with Cody Simpson, our 46'3". Then we've got another 6'3" kid in Tristan Bryan, who's having a great year as well. He kind of gets overshadowed a little bit by Lackey, but they're both averaging about 18 points apiece. So we've got a lot. We've got some size. We've got some shooters. It's just a really, really good group of kids to work with.
Well, and of course, you've always had success, managed to find success there at Fairfield. You always do a great job. But that brings us to our WMIX Sports social media question of the week. It's somehow become famous. I'm not quite sure how, but this week we want to know, what TV show or sport do you watch and can't figure out why you watch it?
That's a great question. That is a super question. Growing up in Central Illinois, I had a grandfather that was a huge, huge Cubs fan. And living out in the country at the time, we didn't have cable, so I went into town. And the only thing on at the time, baseball-wise, was the Cardinals there, the Braves on PBS, or the Cubs on WGN. So I'm going to blame my late grandfather for being a Cubs fan. So when it comes baseball season, I watch Cubs games. And right now, I don't know why.
Well, but the great thing with that is back in the day when you only had those options, you could always catch a Cubs game. And during the summer, you could catch a Cubs game during the day. Atlanta on the East Coast always started an hour ahead of the Cardinals, so you could always get the better part of those 3 teams on a daily basis. So that's actually a really good answer.
Well, I'm a golf fan too, and if you're not a golfer and you said that, and you go to a golfer's house, you say, "Man, why are you watching this? I do really enjoy golf as well. But yeah, the Cubs fan thing, I think there's quite a few more Cardinal fans around Southern Illinois than there are Cubs fans.
But, it's funny because it seems like when you get in the old NEC territory, you start, like, especially Lawrence County, you find an incredible amount of Cubs fans in that area. It's unbelievable.
You're right. As you get farther up that way, I don't feel in the minority. But Wayne County, there's not too many.
No, there are not. Coach, we appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy getting ready for Red Hill tonight. Good luck to the Mules.
Hey, thank you very much.
That is Scott McElravy, head coach of the Fairfield Mules, and, of course, does a great job and always has that program near the top of the BDC East, if not at the top. And always a pleasure to be able to catch up with him. It's always a pleasure to catch up with Shane Garner. We'll talk with Coach Garner after the break. His team beat Alvarado by 60 last night. But, of course, they're also going to do something cool on Tuesday. We'll talk about that after the break here on the Saturday Sports Show, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital. It's what healthcare should be. Back after these.
This is your local State Farm agent, Tony Wilt. I want to thank Mount Vernon and the surrounding area for continuing to support us over the past 5 years. If you have never sat down with someone to go over your insurance program, let me invite you into our office. Let us show you what working with the industry leader, represented by a local agent, can do for you. I'm located just off 42nd Street. You can reach our office 24 hours a day at 242-1421 or on the web at tonywilt.com. Thanks again, and go Rams.
I couldn't resist. Last month's Ram Truck Month was so successful, I have decided to extend the only true truck month. Hi, Roy Schmidt, Ram dealer at King City Chrysler, Mount Vernon. You remember me telling you that the deals couldn't get any better, and it can't. That's why I'm glad to extend the opportunity for 0% financing for 72 months, plus $2,000 cash back on new 2013 Ram Quad Cabs and Crew Cabs with the Bighorn, Express, or Outdoorsman packages. 2014s are arriving daily, and we are ready to deal to help close out the 2013 model year. Take advantage of these amazing incentives. Come see one of our sales associates at King City Chrysler Center at 1603 Broadway in Mount Vernon, Illinois, or shop us online at kingcitychrysler.com. Find us on Facebook, and don't forget our new Express Lane, fast oil changes, and more for service without an appointment.
The sound of bouncing basketballs is heating up high school gymnasiums. Hi, this is Bria Ashby with Community First Bank of the Heartland. Hear all of the twine-tickling action on WMIX and watch at WMIXsports.com this winter. Mount Vernon Rams and Lady Rams basketball is in full swing. Find our broadcast schedule and live audio and video streaming at WMIXsports.com or listen to WMIX on game night. It's Rams and Lady Rams basketball, powered by Community First Bank of the Heartland. Welcome back to Personal Banking.
And we welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show. Chris Hugo with you. Danny Zerwinski, of course, will be back with us next week. He is on his way to Effingham. The Waltonville Spartans, Dietrich Moving Maroons. It's coming your way at 11:15 on AM 940. That's your pregame. Tip-off is at 11:30. You can also listen online at WMIXsports.com. Saturday Sports Show, meanwhile, is powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital. It is what healthcare should be. Our next guest, he is Shane Garner. He is the head coach of the SV Red Devils. They got a big win last night in BDC West play over Alvarado, 91-31. Coach, good morning.
Good morning, Chris. How are you doing?
You know, great. Things are going well for you, and I'm happy to see it. You're 6-5. You're over 500. But what I like to see is that in the BDC West, you're 2-1. You're in contention. Things going very well for the Red Devils now that you guys are actually getting to play games.
Yeah, and I think that's the main point right there, what you said. You know, looking back at the beginning of the season, we hit the Week 5 mark, and we only had one game under our belt. And it was still up in question, you know, kind of who we are as a team. And, you know, and then the tournament hit. We got a lot of games in there quick. And now after we're, you know, the post-tournament, we got to kind of sit down and kind of reevaluate some stuff, you know, make some adjustments. And now we're ready to get into a regular routine here and, you know, go, like you just said, go and contend for a conference title.
Well, you get a fourth-place trophy at your own holiday tournament. Then you go on the road to beat Carrier Mills by about 16. You win by 60 last night, but thankfully, unless I missed a makeup game, looking at your original schedule, you really didn't miss too many games with the winter weather that just came through.
No, and, you know, that's just one of the benefits that we had earlier, you know, not being in a Thanksgiving tournament.
we had the Chester game removed and the West Frankfort game got moved around, but, we got to play it. So, we didn't lose a whole lot of games. They just kind of got moved around a little bit. So that right now we're ready to kind of get in the flow of things and get after it a little bit.
Of course, a big one with Trico tonight. Trico, of course, also near at the top of the BDC West, although a tough one last night for them. Big game tonight for SV. I believe it's at home against the Pioneers. Huge game.
Yeah, it's a big game, and our kids are going to be ready. And I know Coach Nault's going to have his kids. He does a really good job with them, and they're going to bounce back from last night. They're going to be fired up to come down to Red Devil Land and compete against us. So we're hoping for a good atmosphere and just a good overall competition between two teams.
And of course, you guys are back home on Tuesday against Goreville, a big game again in the conference play. But when you take a look at that, I think the most important thing is something I happen to see on your Facebook post yesterday from you. You guys are participating in an Illinois Operation Teen Safe Driving program, asking fans to wear black Tuesday night against Goreville. Explain more about what's going on Tuesday.
Our high school, and it's led by our student council. They took, and it's a statewide student-led competition, and the operation is called Operation Teen Safe Driving. And what that is, it's just to bring awareness of good driving decisions for our teenagers. And with emphasis on wearing your seatbelts, watch your speeding, avoid the distractions with the cell phones and the iPads and the iPods and all that stuff. And the blackout game is one of the things that we have to do for the competition, and it is involving community involvement. And so not only we're going to involve our community, but we're involved the community of Goreville, and we're hoping, for a great turnout there and some great activities that's planned for the fans and all that. And that's just one of the many activities that will be going on in our high school all that week to bring awareness for our students, so that they can pay attention and, really focus on the importance of safe driving.
So the fact that you're playing Goreville, the Black Cats, who will probably be dressed in black, is that just sheer coincidence, or was that planned?
Yeah, that is sheer coincidence. When they came to me and gave me the idea, and I asked them if they knew who we were playing, and so they're like, well, we'll just, it works out for them so they don't have to change anything, but we already had T-shirts made and ordered for our fans and our students, so we're going to go with it, and that's just part of it, and we're going to have a good time and raise a lot of awareness, but yet we're going to go out and compete and play a ball game, and, there's going to be fun all around.
That is awesome. And then you travel to ZR on Friday night before heading into the Benton tourney. Not overlooking ZR, that's a crucial game as well. They're playing good basketball. But when you go into the Benton Invitational Tournament, you're playing a bulk of great 2A programs. How well does that tournament prepare you for the postseason?
Oh, it's tremendous. And that's one thing when we got in this a couple of years ago. We knew that this tournament was going to do nothing but make us better. You play quality teams like, you got Carlisle, you got Hamilton County, you got Benton, you come back with Oakville and Pinckneyville. I mean, we can't go out and get those teams on a regular schedule. And being in this tournament and being able to play that competition, especially being able to play it in the time frame that it's in, it does nothing but benefit you for postseason play.
Well, no doubt about that. And, of course, last time I was solo, I lost my head and I forgot to ask you the WMIX Sports social media question. This week, that will not happen. I've remembered. I've marked it down. And we want to know this week, what TV show or sport do you watch, but yet can't figure out why you watch it?
I don't know, but for some reason with my 1-year-old, we have a lot of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse going on in our home. And there's a lot of times where he's not paying attention, but yet I'm glued to it, and I kind of follow it all the way through and then start the next one. So I'd say Mickey Mouse Clubhouse is the one for us in this household.
Very nice, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Of course, I know you're busy, and I thank you for taking the time to join us today. I hope not only all goes well with your game tonight, but that's a neat thing you guys are doing on Tuesday, and I hope you guys are able to pack the stands and have a lot of black on both sides.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
That is Shane Garner, head coach of the Cecil Red Devils, just a great all-around guy, and good to see him having some success. And, some may see 6-5 and be like, Hugo, what are you talking about? But 2-1 in the BDC West, a tough side of the Black Diamond Conference, and I'm thankful that he had time for us this morning, and we wanted to showcase what we could for Cecil with that in mind. Let's see. Ron Weinmiller is still to come here on the Saturday Sports Show. We'll take a break, come back with Ronald. His team playing very well right now, the Benton Rangers. Don't know if he's a Ronald or not, but we like to call him Ronnie. So Weinmiller comes up after the break here on the Saturday Sports Show, presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital. It's what healthcare should be. We're back after this.
Hi, this is Joe David Cummins, President of Community First Bank. By now you have heard about our new One Checking product. The new One Account is a high interest earning, free checking account designed for everyone. Unlike other banks that pay interest on higher balance, this account pays interest on all balances. From high schoolers to Warren Buffett, One will work for you. You can talk to one of us at 244-3000 and learn about the details. One, exclusively at Community First Bank. You will be one happy customer. Member FDIC.
This is Chase Landers with Landers Collision Centers. Imagine this. You're driving down the road. It's dark as can be outside. Thank goodness you just had that left headlight bulb replaced. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see a thing. Now, close your eyes. Okay, don't close your eyes. You're supposed to be driving. Imagine noticing a slight twinkle off to the left, just above the ditch. What is that, you think to yourself? All of a sudden, whap! You've just encountered your first deer hit. The left side of your vehicle is beat up pretty bad. The next thing I want you to imagine is very simple. Picking up your phone and dialing 1-888-LANDERS to set up your repair. Deer claims are common, and usually a very simple process, which fall under comprehensive coverage. This is Chase Landers, asking you to allow Landers to be your collision repair shop of choice. Whether it be a deer hit, fender bender, or the regular, uh-oh, sorry mom, Landers is here for you whenever you need us. Big or small, Landers fixes them all. 1-888-LANDERS. That's 1-888-LANDERS.
Mount Vernon is home to many wonderful people and things, and that includes quality cardiac care from Dr. Ruzaik Ibrahim. A skilled cardiologist, Dr. Ibrahim's training and scientific accomplishments have earned his designation as a Fellow of the American College of Cardiology. His services range from preventative care to the treatment of advanced heart conditions. For an appointment with Dr. Ibrahim at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 241-9071 or visit in person at 4113 South Water Tower, Mount Vernon.
Welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX and WMIXSports.com. It is powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital. It's what healthcare should be. Danny Zawinski, of course, on his way to Effingham for the Waltonville Spartans. Chris Hugo with you in studio here until 10 o'clock. We welcome to the program not only a WMIX sports correspondent, but he is the head coach of the Benton Rangers, who were victorious last night. He's Ron Weinmiller. Coach, good morning.
Good morning, Chris. Good morning.
It's a great morning for you, man. That's a huge win last night over Massac. Of course, you got a huge win over Harrisburg. You sit at 3-1 on the River to River Ohio side, and you're tied at the top with the Massac County Patriots, whom you beat last night. Still with Murfreesboro to come as far as the first side of the Ohio play, but overall, Rangers are playing pretty well right now coming out of the Duster Thomas Hoops Classic.
Yeah, we've played pretty good basketball. 2 games into the new year. We've played 2 really good teams. I would say that we've probably beaten the favorites at home. We've kind of held serve. I think everybody kind of thought it would be a Massac-Harrisburg race. After watching them play this summer, boy, I thought Massac County was awfully good, and then seeing them this year, they've continued that, and it was a great win for our kids, and our young guys are growing up and learning how to win close games.
Of course, if Danny were in the studio right now, what he would ask you is probably unable to do the game, unable to be at due to some circumstances, that final game at the Duster Thomas Hoops Classic. Jason Hobbs takes over. How much of this winning streak is because of Jason Hobbs' expert tutelage?
Oh, I can't say enough good things about Jason. What he brings, he's kind of my sounding board, and we've even included Coach Hobbs, his dad, in it a little bit, because those guys, I respect them. Jason's a good, level-headed guy. He kind of talks me off the ledge sometimes when things aren't going good, and sometimes he'll look at me when I'm wanting to practice for 3 hours, and he'll say, "Hey, you got to get him out at 2:15," and he just does a good job with that. But you know what? I really feel like all that over there has been kind of part of the springboard, because it really brought our guys together. And I hope that I never have to go through it again, but I think Jason did a good job the game that I couldn't be at, and of really kind of rallying the troops. And our senior guys have really stepped up and shown some good leadership through that.
Well, and, you take a look at your schedule now the rest of the way, and you have the BIT obviously coming up, but you have a nice game. Of course, it's been a rivalry for quite a while. I know it means something extra special to you, probably being from McLeansboro, but you have El Dorado on Tuesday at home. You travel to Murfreesboro in a big river-to-river game on Friday before the BIT the week after. a nice stretch of games coming up for your Rangers.
Yeah, and 6 of the 7 are at home, and that's what we played pretty good basketball at home. We beat a Heron team at home pretty good, our first conference game, and the only 3 games we played at home have all been conference games. So, getting a chance to play for some extended time at home, meanwhile throw in a trip to a very tough place to play and get the team that's playing very well. Probably from the first game of the year to January 10th, maybe the most improved South in Murfreesboro. And, nothing's easy. We got to really get ready for El Dorado on Tuesday and do a good job against them because they're kind of up and down a bit, but we got to be ready to go against them on Tuesday.
Well, no doubt about that. And of course, we talk about, and I mentioned in jest, I know Coach Hobbs obviously is an important part of your coaching staff, but you do a great job as well. But the kids on the floor are probably the most important aspect to any team. Talk a little bit about some of your kids who are excelling right now. And I understand you were missing the head kid last night, even in that big win over Massac.
Yeah, Dakota turned his ankle about halfway through practice on Thursday, and we decided that we would shut him down a little bit with the flurry of games we got. And, the kid who's really playing well for us right now is Trey McDaniel. He's our point guard, had 11 last night, 6 assists on 2 times. And he's a guy that's really, really playing well. We're getting great minutes out of our freshman, Derek Oxford. And we're also getting an opportunity to showcase some of our older kids, Tyler Owens and Nathaniel Higgins. And then, we're playing a 6 post guy. So that's not easy. But he's getting in there and scrapping and fighting. And then we got 12 off the bench off our other post guy, sophomore, Brian Richardson. So, we're playing those 7 a lot. We got good minutes last night out of Chase Owens. I mean, I looked out there one time, we had 3 sophomores and a freshman on the floor. So, our young guys are really stepping up and really rising to the challenge right now.
Ron, I know you're a busy man, have a lot to do today, and wouldn't be the same, obviously. I was going to let you go and just mess with you and not ask you the social media question, but I'll go ahead and ask you. This week we want to know, if I can find it, I'm actually just trying to delay because I already forgot it. What TV show or sport do you watch and can't figure out why you watch it?
TV sport or show?
Just a TV show or sport. It could be a sports show.
Definitely the TV show that I can't figure out why I watch it, and my wife makes fun of me, but I really can't stop watching Dance Moms. I think that's my one thing.
So is that your vice? Is that how you relax after a game? You open up a soda and then kick back and watch Dance Moms?
If it's on, really, because I'm just in awe of, I've coached for 15, 16 years now, and I've never seen parents act like that. So I got to think a lot of it's staged, but still the way people act, it blows me away. So that's what I'm going to go with.
Is that the Honey Boo Boo show? Is that what that is? Or is that something different?
That's something different.
Oh, that sucks.
You're totally on different. You need to start broadening your horizons, Chris.
I have very broad horizons. I watch Air Disasters. I watch 2.5 Men. That's my answer. Probably is 2.5 Men. I don't know why I watch it because it's not good anymore.
Hey, I know Jeff was just on. Was his answer the Sasquatch show?
No, Finding Bigfoot was not his answer. He actually went with the World Series of Poker. Not bad for Miracle Man.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Always a pleasure, Ronnie. Take care. Good luck.
All right, see you, Chris.
That's Ron Weinmiller. Oh, man. Miracle Man has been called on the Saturday Sports Show. It's probably too much inside information, but we appreciate you for hanging around. We're here until 10 o'clock, and while we have some time left, we'll run down our schedule real quick. My answer, obviously, now to the social media question is 2.5 Men. Jumped the shark when Charlie Sheen was booted, in my opinion. So, I know they brought on new cast, no Ashton Kutcher, and what's-her-name's on there now, and why I watched it, I have no fathomable idea, but for some reason it finds its way to my digital video recorder every Thursday night. Not sure why, but there you go. I'm not sure what DC's is. We didn't talk about it before he left. We're going to have him back on the program here in just a moment, but things right now are really starting to get a little dicey. Of course, we're talking about some conferences and how the chips may fall, but DC joins us back now. Danny, things are getting a little crazy right now. I was just talking a little bit about the conference turmoil that we're looking at. Teams are going to really have to be proactive. We say that, but we're looking at Sparta especially. They're going to have a meeting on Monday night to talk about whether or not they're going to leave the River to River and maybe look at the Black Diamond. Things are crazy right now.
They're really crazy because a lot of people have a lot of interest in how things go, because every school district is going to have a group that will say, you know what, we want to stay. We want to play Pinckneyville, AJ, Nashville, DuQuoin. There are groups that will say, you know what, we want to get out of the River to River. We can't compete in anything but cross-country and track. We need to go to the Diamond. But then that group will come through and say, well, if we go to the Diamond, then our travel goes up and our travel expenses for the school. So I don't think, from what is rumored about, I don't believe everything is as easy or as cut and dry as far as schools wanting to go from one place to another or join up with each other in sports. I don't think everything's as cut and dry as it was possibly thought of a couple of weeks ago.
No, and not at all. And I think this all sparked up again. This has always been rumored over the years that these changes would come, but really the iron and the fire that got it all burning was the talk of a football co-op with DuQuoin and Alvarado. And obviously, the BDC set a precedent when they forced Cairo out for not having football. And so it's something you sort of have to stick to now. And really, it's this talk of this possible co-op, but there's not a lot of people maybe outside of those two communities that are in favor of this co-op, perhaps.
Well, there is some resistance, I think. I think everybody's got a plan. I think anybody that is involved in these schools or these conferences involving these schools have probably anywhere, I would guess, from 1 to 5 different plans. If this goes down, we're going to do this. If this goes down, we're going to have to try this. If this goes this way, then we're going to go get some friends. At least a handshake and a wink friend. But, I look at it this way. You have Sparta and Alvarado Trico, two teams that really, honestly, have not had a lot of success on the football field in the last decade plus. And they are the two teams that are the linchpins to the whole mess that could happen, kind of like we throw a big rock in a pond and the waves go everywhere. Those two teams control the destinies of a lot of schools as far as which conference and what they're going to be doing and where they're going.
Exactly. And, there's not necessarily a lot of support for a move in the community of Sparta itself. I just read this morning in a couple of places that there's talk that at this meeting on Monday, no decision will be made, that they're going to talk about scheduling another meeting after a possible town hall meeting, as I read in a couple of different sources today. So, things are going to be dicey for the next few months, but on the BDC, you're looking at the fact that there's another school that really wants in. Edwards County superintendent, I believe it was their superintendent, sent off a letter that was published in a local print media. And, they sent off a letter wanting to be into the BDC. So it may not just be cut and dry for Sparta to get in, but at the same time, you look at DuQuoin Alvarado, there's some schools that don't want to be in a conference that has a co-op.
And there's a thing, too. If it comes in with Edwards County, I think some schools, if that were to happen, or Sparta comes in, or one, not the other, all the schools that are in there have to understand that they're going to have to work with each other, because you don't want to make someone mad and say, well, I'm not going to travel over that way or whatever, because then you run into an issue that if a handful of schools on one side or the other decide in the Black Diamond, you know what, we're going to join up with these other 4 over here from another conference or whatever, you could have that going on too. Everything is not just based on the Black Diamond and the River to River. If this goes, if anything happens, and there's 100+ different scenarios probably out there, it is going to cause a domino effect that will bother schools with enrollments of 100+ all the way up to 1,100. That's the conferences involved. It'll involve the SEC, the GEC, the LIC, the MVC. It will, the Apollo. The South 7, every conference, if these things go like they're rumored to go, will be bothered by that. It's not just 2 conferences. It's going to be a massive shift in idea and what allegiances these schools have to what conference.
Sure, because if something happens, we'll just give this example, and I'm not at all saying that this is what would happen. I'm just saying that you have to think in terms of this. Say if Sparta does leave the River to River, they have the option of A, and this won't happen. You and I both know that because some teams don't want to cross over and play the other, but they could just boot another team and go close conference for football. Obviously, that won't happen, but then you look at the fact of which team would they boot. Would they tell Massac to take a hike because of geography? Would they tell Heron to take a hike because of size? And it's things like that that could impact your larger conferences because, Heron's still growing. They're getting back up into the 3A level. But, we talked about it last night. And, Carterville is a school that we've known for years is going to continue to grow. Todd Rogers said this morning, how many students they're going to have in a couple of years. But in 5 to 10 years, probably closer to 10, they could be a very high 3A level school.
The thing about Carterville, the projections, Sparta's projections, they're at 346 right now enrollment-wise, just Sparta. And their projections are they're not going to get any bigger in the next few years. The projection for Carterville in the next 5 to 7 years, this high school alone, they're going to be somewhere over 1,000 near the 1,200 student mark over the next 5 to 7 years. Carterville will not stay in 3A very much longer in football. They'll go to 4A, and it won't be very much longer after that that Carterville goes to 3A. Now, if Carterville keeps going and Heron keeps growing because the Route 13 corridor is that area where it grows, then those two schools have to look around and go, you know what? When it comes to postseason, we're not going to play the Benton West Frankfort Nationals of the world. We're going to be playing Mount Vernon, Marion, Centralia, Cahokia, Triad, whoever. We need to move up. What's our option? And that simply is what, again, I go back to, the conference changing won't just affect two conferences. You're talking about, a handful to almost a dozen conferences that could be affected by this.
Well, and that's the thing is, there's been some talk, and, I hate to bring this up, but some talk of possibly Salem making a move. And, I'm not saying that they would get into the river-to-river because I don't think that, because I think if you take Salem and as a 3A school, 4A in football, that you run the risk of shafting yourself if something ever happens at Carterville and Heron get too big and don't want to leave. But, it is amazing the possibilities that could happen out of this. You do have schools looking to possibly get out of where they are right now. And, we talk all the time, you especially, about having to be proactive and that those that are reactive are going to be left in the dust. That is no more truer than it is right now. That is a total truth. And schools are going to have to start looking closely at that if they want to be in a conference when the dust settles.
You are going, like I said, for years. I said this several years ago. Conferences down in Southern Illinois, south by 70, need a shakeup. They needed a shakeup. Now, the one thing that drives all this, and I don't care what anybody says, football drives and is driving all this change. Now, if the IHSA were to change the football system and say you don't just need 5 wins to get in the playoffs, then all this is probably not happening. All of this is moot, and it's done. Now, for example, you mentioned Salem. If I'm just saying this. If Salem were to get out of the Apollo and come to the river, you're putting another 3A school with Massac. You'd have, Massac, Heron, Harrisburg, and all that. You'd have to flop some teams because you got smaller schools in Benton and Frankfort on that side. Then, again, if you're Mount Vernon, Marion, Carbondale, Centralia, you got to sit there and go, you know what? There's got to be a way we can entice the people into the conference and maybe, quote-unquote, rearrange the South 7, whether that means adding teams and or subtracting. Somebody somewhere has got to sit there and look in the South 7 and go, hey, folks, it's time. We need to go and recruit and promote and say, join our conference because of the following number of reasons. That's got to start happening if you're the South 7, because what you don't want to do is be sitting there with a conference buddy, and all of a sudden you're still sitting there and your buddies have taken off. That is something you got to be careful of as a school, to sit there and be reactive instead of proactive.
Well, and while we're talking conferences, the IHSA member schools, and not everybody participated in the vote. I think they only had like 59% of the vote, or somewhere in that neighborhood. 11 proposals on the ballot. All 11 were approved, but probably the biggest one that would concern us from an overall standpoint and this particular topic would be Proposal 1, which was for a co-op agreement to be extended, written approval of the conferences involved be submitted with the renewal application. So for a school like for a co-op like SVWW, I understand that. I asked for clarification and got it. that the Black Diamond and the Midland Trail would have to sign off on it.
Yes, that, again, there's another one. If Sparta and Steelville, the Sac football co-op's over with, from what I understand, they don't have to worry about it. Alvarado Trico, if they have to stay together, if Alvarado gets out of the Diamond, then Alvarado, you'd have to get the Black Diamond and the SEC to approve if Alvarado is the SEC. That will throw a major monkey wrench in a lot of co-ops, because there will be some obstinate members of conferences that go, I don't want them doing that. Or I don't want them co-oping because that'll hurt our school because we won't have a chance. It would not shock me to see some schools balk at this, and I think some schools will use this rule when it comes down to a possible two-coin Alvarado co-op. I think some schools will say, you know what, I don't want that going on. And that is a huge rule. That's number one. Number two is the football started practice now on a Monday, not the traditional Wednesday, but that is a huge rule for co-ops, where if you have to get conference approval first, then to send it off to get renewed by the IHSA, you may not get past the approval of the conferences. There might be some co-ops dissolved in this process.
Oh, exactly. And, thinking in terms of that, there could be some conferences dissolved in this process. And, it's not really one that we're targeting right now, but the Egyptian Illini could be destroyed over all of this, because you have dual membership with some of those schools being in the NTC. Cowden Herrick, Beecher City. I mean, while that's easier because they're both in both conferences. St. Elmo Brownstown's another. To my knowledge, St. Elmo wasn't in the Egyptian Illini. Brownstown, of course, if I'm not mistaken, was in both. I could be wrong there on the National Trail, but, that's the type of thing that could happen, because, let's face it, a conference like the Egyptian Illini, by having so many schools that are already dual members, really hanging on by a thread, because you have Beecher City, Cowden Herrick, St. Elmo Brownstown in both conferences now. So, I mean, really, if a Christ-Star Rock were to ever make a move to a possible move to the Midland Trail ever, you'd be looking at Patoka, Mulberry Grove, and Ramsey left sitting there with probably nowhere to go.
And that's what I'm talking about. If you got buddies, you better make sure you're proactive, because your buddies might be telling you one thing, and all of a sudden they may backdoor you and go to greener pastures. And again, this co-op rule, like you said, those schools that jump between the Midland Trail and the National Trail, they may say either pick one or get out, and then you watch things fold. I mean, this whole deal with Sparta and Alvarado and Trico, as far as football and new co-ops or not co-ops, like I said, doesn't just affect two conferences, and it's going to affect a whole big swath of conferences that we're known. And I think probably, a few years from now, we're going to have to learn new teams, new conferences, because everything's going to change, unless the IHSA changes the way you get the playoffs in football.
Well, and it could. And, of course, we're going to overrun the 10 o'clock a little bit, probably go till about 10:06 here. But when you take a look at what's going on right now, it's just unfathomable to see the changes that could happen. But all these changes could be prevented if a certain organization would step up and just allow the changes to football that need to be made. And that's going to happen with whether it's to extend the playoffs or whether it's to, go to the Kentucky system of districts and things like that. All this could be prevented.
The system is flawed, because when you have schools that drop other non-conference games because, quote-unquote, we want to stay and play another school in our conference twice, one for conference, one for not. The other thing that is creeping up, and it's not just a far-off distance shot, this is a shadow now, is the fact that a lot of your schools are cutting back on costs and travel. Galatia can only play teams within 30 miles of the school. North Clay's cutting back. Several schools are making their athletes drive themselves to games now. So when you start looking at that and you go, what are we going to do here? Because now we don't have a bus, we got to all ride together. This is a bad deal. I mean, this is travel and expenses are going to start cutting into high school sports, and because of that, you're going to see schools not be able to have the sports. And I mean, talk about Southern Illinois football can't get past second or third round. I think Harrisburg last year. Football in Southern Illinois right now, unless something changes, there are some teams that won't have freshmen and sophomore teams with or without co-op.
Well, and you bring up a perfect example. You look at the Midland Trail Conference right now, and that's a conference that has seen girls basketball just start to fall to the wayside due to not only budget cuts, but lack of enrollment as they start to drop. When we did just about every game of the MTC girls tournament in 2012, I want to say there were about 8 teams. Now they're down to 5. And, I mean, those are the types of things you're going to see where you already, because of that, you have Wayne City having to play Weber twice on the girls' side or other institutions having to play twice. And, you take a look at those struggles, and it is not going to be easy. And so things have to be figured out now because, we're getting to a point financially in the school system, and obviously you have a better finger on that pulse than I do. Pardon me. But, when you take a look at that, finances are only probably going to start to worsen, and we're going to come to a point also where the state could look at forcing consolidation.
I think what you'll see is you will not see football teams unless they're nationally ranked, got the D1 recruits. You won't see football teams like a Mount Vernon make a trip to Ohio. You won't see football teams make a trip more than 5, 6, 7 hours to hotels. It's not going to happen because you're looking at expenses, and it would not shock me in the future with the bigger schools of the South 7 that they go, you know what, we're not going to travel. You know what, we're just going to play somebody twice, and if we have to play a home and home in 1 year, we will. If not, why don't we play them in a neutral site? I just think with expenses and bus and travel, you're going to see a lot more schools do different things because of the fact that they, as in schools, don't have that money financially to approve bus trips.
Well, and that's going to be huge. I mean, transportation is an underestimated cost in terms of the general public of knowing what goes into running a high school sports program. But this is a football thing now that we're kind of go into. It's not really conference related, but it is big news. And the reports that Nick Hill at Carbondale is going to take the SIU quarterback coaching job under Dale Lennon. Obviously, that's a move that reeks of SIU needing him more than he needs SIU, but, Carbondale's likely to be open as a football job. How crazy is that? 3 coaches, 3 years.
3 coaches, 3 years for Carbondale, and a job that, Carbondale made the playoffs this year under Nick Hill 1 year. Looking at SIU, they had 4 assistants to Bart. Now, whether that was by choice, and they wanted to improve themselves and go on, or maybe in the upper echelon of on Mount Olympus at SIU, there was some, hey, make some changes. We want to see something different or else. Nick Hill joins Dale Lennon. Again, like you said, is that really, does Nick Hill need Dale Lennon more than Dale Lennon needs Nick Hill? I think we'll find out. For Nick, he wants to coach, he wants to do things, and of course, there you go. I mean, that's what you got to do as far as, hey, I've got to make my own moves. I got to do some things, and here we go.
Well, no doubt about that, but there's just been so many interesting things happen. Of course, we have a minute left, but DC, good luck with the call today. Of course, the Waltonville Spartans, the Moving Maroons of Dietrich even, will be at 11:15 pregame, 11:30 tip-off if everything's running smoothly up there in St. Anthony. How have the roads been up there?
Well, I'll just tell everybody from southbound from Salem, about 2 miles, 3 miles south, there are currently patching of holes going on. I passed a couple overturned semis, several cars still in the ditch on north and southbound, but Salem southbound to Centralia is going to be really slow over the next few hours. They have one lane completely shut down, and they're working on the other one for potholes. So other than that, everything went smoothly. As I already got here in Effingham, so everything's ready to go.
Nice. We'll see you tonight. Or this afternoon even.
I'll try it for afternoon.
That's Danny Zawinski, of course, co-host here on the Saturday Sports Show. And, we went over a little bit this week. We thank you for being patient with us and sticking with us till the 10:06 mark. We hope you'll come back next week. You can find a bevy of games on the dial today, AM and FM. This is WMIX Mount Vernon.